After 24 hours, some children are now well enough to be moved out of the intensive care unit, the survivors of what has now become the worst school attack in China over the past few months. Outside the ward, doctors update parents on their children's condition, but officials soon asked us to leave the hospital, and we could not speak to any of the families. This is the closest police have allowed us to get to the kindergarten, about 300 meters down the road. Shortly after school started, the attacker ran in, went after the kindergarten owner before turning on the children. Then he went home and killed himself. One villager witnessed part of the horror.
I saw him holding a knife up in his right hand. I ran out, shouting everywhere, but nobody heard because it was raining this morning. Then a few women came out, but we were not enough, so I went back into the house. The killer walked straight past me. He glanced at me but walked on, and I closed the door and stayed inside.
A relative says the killer had mental health issues.
He's been ill. He's been talking nonsense, not making sense, like he's unbalanced.
It is the latest in a string of copycat attacks on school children across the country. Some of the men are understood to have mental health issues, but others do not, and many Chinese say they're not surprised by what's happening. In a country where there's little recourse if you run into hardship or a dispute, many say these are acts of desperate people who feel they've no other option to bring attention to their grievance. Across the country, security at schools have already been stepped up, so there will likely be questions why another incident could take place here. At this neighboring school, worried parents have shown up in greater numbers than usual, and despite the weather.
There are many children at school, and you can only have so much security. As parents, showing up makes us feel safer.
Troubled parents and troubled authorities, wondering whether there will be more attacks to come.